Welcome to another edition of Kerbal Space Program. Let's see what we can get into today. Now that Kerbal scientists have a space station in orbit around Kerbin, they've decided it's time to go to the moon and build a base there. In order to find a good spot on the moon for the new base, Kerbal scientists have created this probe to orbit it and explore it. First, we have to get it into orbit and then make our trip to the moon. To lift such a light payload, instead of using the Xenorian Heavy Lifter, they created this, a smaller version of it, the Xenorian Light Lifter. Now we'll make our push into orbit so we can detach the probe and send it on its way to the moon. Let's detach this probe here and prepare to send it on its way. We are ready to send it on its way, but first, our brave Kerbin needs to return back to the surface of Kerbin. Now for Kerbal scientists to send the probe to the moon and look for a nice place to set up the new moon base. We want to swing right by the moon here and hopefully put ourselves in an orbit around 10,000 meters. That's close enough. Alright, now to find a nice landing spot here. Hopefully we can find something fairly easy. I don't know though. I'd like to have something a little smooth so that way the base can sit nice and level. But it's alright if it's off a little bit. That looks like it might be a good spot to put the moon base. Let's see what kind of terrain we have as we get closer here and land. Well, I think our probe is in a good spot. I think we'll send a lander up here to explore the area a little further, and then we'll decide where we want to put the moon base. Alright, we have the Andoria lander and the Corian rover. We're preparing it for takeoff, and we'll head to the moon in this. It'll be the first time Kerbals have set foot on the moon. Jedediah and Bill have been tasked with heading this mission to the moon, so they need to transfer over to the new lander. Bob's been tasked with returning the Xenorian heavy lifter back to the surface of Kerbin. Bob wishes him farewell as he begins his descent back to the Kerbal Space Center. And Bob is safely back on the surface of Kerbin, and it's time for us to continue our mission with Jedediah and Bill. Jedediah and Bill need to activate the fuel flow so that way they can travel to the moon, and hopefully they'll get to their destination safely. They're going through their checklist of stuff they need to do before they leave the orbit of Kerbin. And it looks like they're about ready. We should be able to make our way there now. Now to land where the probe is. Looks like we might be coming in on the dark side of the moon, but that's okay. We've got plenty of lights for that. And there we go. We are now safely on the moon. Let's detach this rover and move to the side here, so Jedediah and Bill can use it to explore the surface and find a good spot to land the base. There we go. It's really dark on this side of the moon. Looks like Jedediah and Bill might have to wait till daytime in order to start exploring the moon. Morning has arrived, and it looks like it's the perfect time to get out and explore the moon. Jedediah is first to exit the castle, and he's going to work his way down the ladder. Followed by Bill, who decides to take a different approach to exiting the capsule. have a little bit of fun bouncing around on the surface of the moon. Kerbal Command Center radios in to Jebediah and Bill to collect some samples from the surface of the moon before they return. Jebediah and Bill want to ride around and play on the surface for a little while before they need to finish their job. It appears that the best spot to set up the new base is right here where the lander is. Jebediah is going to make his way near the ship, and he's going to go ahead and plant a flag in the name of Kerbin and all Kerbal kind. He calls Bill over so he can join him in this occasion. Jebediah and Bill walk over to do their final checks on the probe one more time to see if it's worth using. Everything appears to be operational, but it has very little fuel left, so it might just sit here for now. Jebediah and Bill plan to take some surface samples back when they head back to Kerbin. They make a quick inspection of the engines. Jebediah's gone through a checklist as they get ready to head back to Kerbin. It's time for Jebediah and Bill to head back to Kerbin to report what they found and to turn their samples over to the scientists for better exploration. It'll allow them to plan for the next mission to bring a base to the moon. After doing some calculations, Jebediah realizes they don't have enough fuel to return back to Kerbin, so it looks like they're going to have to contact Kerbin Command Center to have a rescue mission come to get them. Jebediah is going to use what little bit of fuel he has left to put them in a much higher orbit. It looks like the mission to build a moon base will have to wait.